Hey traders, welcome to this week's Staying Sharp with COT Data Insights. I'm Phil Mobs, and in this video, I'll break down the key market setups I'm watching based off of the CFTC data, macro catalyst, and price action. If you're following my newsletter, this will bring it all together visually. Let's get into it. So, this past week is more like the week where the real storm happened, following the fact that we had several news catalysts that stormed the market, talking about FOMC, the tariff news, the non-farm payroll, the BOJ. So now that we have arrived into this new week, it's more like this is the week after that storm. And the worst thing you can do right now is to trade like nothing actually changed. First, we would review what happened last week based off of our calls and our anticipation, more on the dollar, and we expressed that with USD JPY. But let's look at the dollar. What happened with the dollar? So upon last week, we were calling for higher prices of the dollar for it to take out these equal highs here as we have seen, and that was beautifully what happened. And on Friday during the non-farm period, and that's a new month, we had the non-farm period that caused this sharp reversal. However, we got our July bullish closed right on spot. And from the positioning perspective, has there been any changes from what we see in the positioning? Well, we can still see here this bullishness in terms of the long commitment. They are stacking it very, very high, and this has not deviated at all. So as far as we see that they are committed on the long side, this does not change the framework. This pullback rather will be a chance for us to look for opportunities to continue being long DXY. However, as at this moment now, knowing that next week we don't have any particular news, it would be wise to just like sit it out. Of course, if you're interested upon Tuesday close, let's see how the dust settle. But best to take it light and wait for the following week when we have CPI and PPI to trade off of. So I'm looking at the calendar now. On Monday there is nothing. On Tuesday we have just one red folder, which is the ISM PMI. Could be interesting, I'm not sure. We have Wednesday, no red folder news. On Thursday we have just the unemployment claim. So again, this is clearly a very cold week without much anticipation. So in this kind of environment, we don't know of what catalyst could push price higher for the dollar. However, it remains to be seen if we can find some level of support upon Tuesday close. But again, I'm not banking too big on this. We had a very good run in July. Now we wait for the market to digest all the rate decision, the hawkishness from Powell. And next is going to be USD JPY. This was good. This is our favorite trade since June. And yes, so we were calling for a bullish close in July, and that was exactly what we got. Upon the close of July, we had a clear shift here, and now we are just waiting to see how this pullback settles down. I don't know how deep they want to go, but I'm anticipating the equilibrium from this swing point to this high here. Let me try to draw the fib level. So from this level here down to equilibrium or somewhere here, so 50% of this range, and then we want to see some level of support there too. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Do we clear out this low here, this swing point here, and then continue moving higher? No. Tuesday close, we have to wait for more evidence post Tuesday close for that to begin to show up. But very good price action into the close of July, and that concludes that. Regarding the indices, we were also for the indices, we made several warnings of how it is dangerous to be the Thursday of that week plus the Friday, and it literally just cleared out all the gains from July. So if you're not out on any bullish bias, then if you had not liquidated most of your positions long, then this would have been very bad, right? So we don't play around Thursday of non-farm payroll. We don't play around non-farm payroll. Wait for it to actually come out. Very interestingly, what actually moved this index lower upon Friday was not even more of the non-farm payroll. I think it has to do more with the tariff announcement. Yes, more of the tariff announcement. So market had already dropped before the non-farm payroll for the indices, and that was literally the same across ES, across NQ itself, and yeah, literally just cleared out these equal lows. For now, this is of no interest for me right now for any swing play. No, it's best to trade this on an intraday basis. Just the intraday daily price action is going to be optimum for this. And so I think that's majorly it. One more thing, we had silver. Well, for silver was a very spectacular run. Upon Tuesday close, we saw consistent failure for price to make higher highs, and upon this shift that happened around 6 o'clock, that was a telling sign that silver was very interested in going low, and that was exactly what we got. The equal lows here was clearly the draw on liquidity, and that played out beautifully. So silver once again has dropped. We have been calling for silver fall since this high here, which was the Tuesday 22nd of July, and this is what we have been seeing so far. So very spectacular drop on silver, and that's it for the metal. So we were looking at USD JPY, we were looking at silver, and then we were looking at the indices too as well, but USD JPY was the best of them all. Now let's go back to positioning. What do we see in the positioning of the market? As at the moment right now on NQ, one of the most interesting things that I think should be of interest as compared to ES was the fact that we have the non-commercials increasing their long commitment to very high levels. This is not good because we don't want to be bullish when the non-commercials are at extreme level bullish, and that's the case right now. So just a short-term call, which is just going to be for a week, right? Next week we're going to have an updated view on it, is the fact that as at the moment we have very high amount of long commitment from NQ. We have very high open interest. This is not bullish for price, and so we want to see some more bearish leaning upon price action. Already we had a gigantic move on Thursday and on Friday, so the simple path, the path of least resistance right now is just going to be lower, or bearishness, let me just put it that way. Bearishness for the indices upon that observation. I've talked about the dollar as well. The dollar as well, upon the positioning, still bullish in positioning. This retracement for me is just more of a pullback, and we should continue the path higher until I see evidence to suggest otherwise. And that's going to be it. For USD JPY too as well, now for USD JPY, again, it's that retracement I'm looking for them to clear out this level of, this swing point here. I want to see how they clear this level, and then do we find support from there to continue the path higher. That will be interesting for me to watch. And then for this new week, I think the most important thing for me right now is silver. I like silver to still go down lower, but when I compare silver and platinum, I see a very interesting argument to favor platinum. Now, if you look at silver, we can see a level of accumulated longs here, which could be a point of resistance for silver as compared to platinum, where this is not really as chunky as we see it in platinum. So I'm expecting that the free fall here should be more enticing as compared to the fall on silver. So I will have my eyes open. I want to see bullish close again upon Tuesday close, and a displacement lower plus SM plus SMT. So that will just be the simple thing. So again, it's very simple. Wait for Tuesday close, have the buyers, and look for suggestion to support the fact that we want to see lower prices. And also just to keep this week light, because of the fact that we don't have much news catalyst, and that's going to influence how swift we would see price react, and also it tells us how weeks on we should be. So a very light week for us to just be selective. I only have metals on my radar here, so it's the cleanest for me, right? So just wait to see how that plays out, and just wait for intraday bias to play out. Now, upon the positioning for platinum, one more thing I have to say for sure here is the fact that the 85,000 contract we saw last week has been reduced to 80,000, and the short was actually increased, and open interest literally just declined by 3,000. So it's still a bearish scenario that could happen on silver, but could it be better on platinum? I think I like platinum, but let's see how it all plays out upon Tuesday close. That's it for this week's COT outlook. If you found it helpful, like and subscribe, and drop a comment if you're watching any of these setups too. If you want to dive deeper, the full write-up is in my Substack, link in the description. Stay nimble, stay sharp. See you next week.